Hi guys, we're back. I am Amy McDonald. This is the Foolish Optimist podcast. We have a very, very special guest with us today who is running in Georgia's 5th congressional district. Andres Castro is a software engineer, a working class advocate, and a candidate for Georgia's 5th congressional district. He's committed to building an economy that values the dignity of all workers, ensuring that a 40-hour work week is enough to raise a family, own a home, and thrive, not just survive. He believes in bold, people-powered leadership that stands up to corporate interests and fights relentlessly for universal health care, strong labor protections, and affordable housing. Andres, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you for the introduction.
Well, I'm so happy to talk with you. We kick off each episode the same way every time. So I would love to know why you're running in 2026.
Yeah, so I think like a lot of people, after the election, I had a moment of crisis. I literally felt my mental model snapped in a way. Like
Mhm.
like in movies where like the glass shatters. That was what it was like that week for me.
The record scratch, they're like,
Yeah, and it was just like saw my whole
yeah.
life flash before my eyes. So I went through like the whole stages of grief essentially. And then when after I got out of that, I was like, all right, let's get to work. How do I help my rep kick some ass?
Hmm.
Unfortunately, when I started digging, what I saw was a representative that was taking corporate money, a representative that was taking APAC money.
Hmm.
And in this point in time, where we are as a country, as a people, like I just couldn't stand for that. I looked to see if anybody else was running, and everybody was just too afraid to try something new. So I said, "Hey, I'm an engineer. I've helped build startups before.
Yeah.
I've helped build stuff from nothing. I've helped organize. I have AI patents. I know how to get shit done." So I said, "Screw it. Let's just announce. We'll run this like a startup." So I literally just announced and I went for it, literally trying to figure out what's the next step to keep going. And here I am, about 6 weeks away from my full launch.
Woo. I mean, as someone who's also worked in startups and political campaigns, it's the same thing. I mean, it
Yeah.
really is, especially when you're like that second, third hire in the startup, and you're just like, we have to move forward no
Yeah.
matter what. And, we have financial goals we have to hit, and we
Mhm.
have teammate number goals we have to hit, or we're not getting the funding. All of it is. And that honestly, that might be why I loved startups so much because I worked on campaigns first. So,
Yeah. And I think there's a big aspect too that that I'm going to be talking a lot more about as my campaign goes on, but I want to show people like all the parallels in life, in your business life that you can actually use to run for campaigns. Like, mentioning startups, mentioning trying to get people, essentially recruiting volunteers, like it's all the same thing. And once you can start seeing the parallels, I think people like see how a tech kind of grassroots open source model can really work in politics.
well, it would also be really, really nice to have somebody in Washington, D.C. who actually understands AI. That would be
Yes,
lovely.
absolutely. Yeah,
I,
I
Whew.
think just they're definitely being sold a lot of lies, and they just don't know that other than to accept it. So I can definitely be a more kind of grounded source of like what does this actually mean?
I was about to say, what do you think it does actually mean in your perspective? Like, I guess, where would the government's role be in artificial intelligence?
Yeah, so I currently see AI as uranium is the best way I can
Yeah.
explain it to people. It has the potential to do great good or great harm. We could build, civilizations out of it using
Hmm.
clean energy, or we can destroy it. So it being such a existential crisis means that we need to take it seriously. There is no putting it back in the box. Like
Right.
no
Not
other country,
possible.
yeah, no other country is going to be like, you know what, the U.S. for once they stuck to their word.
We have
Um,
such a good track record of doing that, you know?
yeah, yeah, like just like how we told Ukraine, we got your
We'll
back
cover
if you
your
get rid of your
back.
nukes. Yeah, you get rid of your nukes, we'll cover your back. And people have learned that not to go down that route anymore. So where we're at now is a situation where we haven't quite uncovered whether it's a nuclear bomb or
Right.
that amazing future capability that can solve medical issues, solve power
Hmm.
issues, you know. So there's got to be a balance that so that we don't mess with our communities right now because the
Right.
problem is that AI is an exponential force. So you
Yeah.
go into a community and you say, "Hey, it's just like a little data center," but really we're going to be exponentially taking out resources from your community, whether it's
Yeah.
water, air,
Something.
your health, you know.
Yeah.
So for me, it's going to be a multi-step kind of like approach of like where can we find places that AI can still thrive, but not affect the communities. And for a lot of that, it's going to be infrastructure. We don't have the infrastructure to
Right.
actually build these things out. So what they're doing is finding those that have the least amount of power to push back and attacking those people and building there. So
Yeah.
there's a wide range of different tactics that we have to kind of balance. But for me, it's always like I've grown to always think of like how will the person, the constituent, you know, how will the everyday Joe be able to benefit from this? And that is
Hmm.
really what matters at the end. Because if it's just something that's going to be used to extract resources from your community, then
You
there is,
gotta.
yeah,
You,
like there's not a real big benefit to it. So we really need to figure out like, does that mean we have to use universal basic income to offset, you know, maybe
people
the
losing like
right.
or not even they're not losing jobs. It's like they're my issue with the United States across the board, and it's always been this way, is that like when we have these industrial revolutions, we are not training our workforce
Yeah.
for the next step, right? And this happened where I grew up, which is Charlotte, North Carolina, and they literally one of the companies that was like one of the big mill towns, they brought people in to train the workers on computers and all of these things, and like
Mhm.
abandoned it after no time at all. And it was just like,
Mhm.
hey, maybe if you'd stuck with it and like kept offering these resources, people would have eventually gotten there, and people in these mill towns wouldn't feel like they were left behind and things like that. And that's
Yeah.
kind of
I think one key thing that I keep seeing across, because I've also seen like there are job placement programs like these
yeah,
things come up, but they quickly run out of money. And
yeah.
the problem is that they're not tied to the resource that they're getting displaced. So
Hmm.
you might say, wow, $5 million for a job resource program, but we're going to take out $100 million out of your community.
Right,
Here's
right.
$5 million. Like that doesn't
That's a
offset.
pittance.
Exactly. So we need to start thinking about these programs in a more tying it more to the actual resource that is getting displaced. So if it
Yeah,
is an exponential growth of a resource, then that benefit where you know they are able to train and stuff will also be exponential along with them. So trying to figure that out and making sure people are aware of those types of how some of that works is going to be
yeah,
really big on my plate.
yeah. No, I mean, I think it's great. I think what I've seen in my adult life with emerging technology and how the government works with it is just bonkers is the only
Yeah.
word I can describe, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm a millennial, so for me the
Hmm.
emerging technology is social media. And all I can ever think about when I think about the government and social media is a senator asking like a high up executive at Instagram if they're going to ban all the Finstas. And then the executive had to explain what a Finsta was. And the
Hmm.
congressman was like, well, are you banning them? And you could just see the exasperation because they're not even using the technology. And I
Yeah.
know their staffers are, obviously, right? So we got to find a way to make sure that we have people in government who can handle tech. So it
We
is
need
nice.
we need Apple Genius bars, but like in
Government
at the
genius
at the
bars.
hill, yeah, in the hill to be like, here's how to use Slack
Have
because
you ever used Instagram? If you
yeah,
haven't, step in this line. Just like an immersive technology program for our
yeah,
congressmen and women.
yes.
Amazing. Um, how did you get into software engineering?
Yeah, so I think I've always been into engineering and kind of breaking things, honestly.
Step
When
one
I
is
was
break it. Step
yeah,
two, rebuild.
rebuild it. Yeah, like when I was young, I would always get like fire trucks and like different toys, and I would literally just find a screwdriver and build like a like Optimus Prime of different toys. So I would always figure out like how to, connect the wires and do a bunch of stuff. So I've always been that type of kid. And then when
Okay.
computers came around, I was like, oh my God, I can build anything like,
Right.
out of ideas, out of thought. And that really kind of got me involved in the computer space. And then when I was graduating high school, I was like, I'm either my paths were I go to KSU, which was a college here in Georgia, or I go to the
Mhm.
Air Force were my options. And I got accepted to KSU and I got a grant.
You're like, and
And
then we
that's
go that way.
and so my
Yes.
life ended up going that way. And I first went undecided, but after a semester, I went for computer science. And after that, I just kind of fell in love with it, like just being able to. I think for me, it was the first time I was able to really feel kind of creative and feel like I've been like let go. In like the phys in the I want to say physical world, but really like just out of my mind
Right.
and what a yeah.
People forget that
Yeah.
software engineers create so much and I mean, depending on who you talk to, they're going to call themselves an engineer, which is a builder, or a developer, which is a different kind of builder. And
Mhm.
it is the fabric of everything that we
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
exist in at this point in time. Obviously, we have the physical world, sure, the built world, but the way we exist online, everything we're doing right now, and that takes a lot of creativity. And I'm on the other side of it in the
Mm,
startup world. I'm the person selling it, right?
mhm.
And being like, yeah, I'm sure our engineers could build that
Yeah,
product
we
for you. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, no worries. You should definitely, yeah, yeah, yeah.
it'll be done this month, I swear.
It'll be done. I was always of the ilk. I was like, it'll be done when it's done,
Yeah,
but you should have it anyways. And then when you'll have
yeah,
it and you'll be comfortable, and then that feature will come up and it'll be perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
yeah. Cool. So how long have you've been in Georgia your entire life?
Yeah, so a little bit about me. My mom, my sister, and me immigrated here in '96. So
Cool.
my parents divorced. So my mom's like, screw it, she just grabbed the two of us and she just flew across the country from Los Angeles. And
Cool.
we ended up here in Atlanta in 1996. And then we basically grew up in the area. Just been living in the metro area. Been living downtown in my current neighborhood since like 2018.
Cool.
But I tried Seattle for a year. Um,
It's a
I
different
couldn't.
vibe. That's a
It's
very different vibe.
it's a
Yeah.
different
I like
vibe.
Seattle. It's
Yeah,
nice to visit.
but the food, the Atlanta food is just too good. The Southern food, I'm like I'm okay with having a slightly shorter lifespan if it means I just get to have some really good fried.
They're like, why'd you die so young? You're like, butter. It's
It's worth
butter and
it.
it's so good. Yeah. I know. I'm from North Carolina originally
Mm,
and thank goodness we have people who have moved to Brooklyn from the deep south
yeah.
and from parts of the country where like the food is that I grew up with because people are
It-
like, this is fried chicken. I'm like, it's fucking not. And don't you dare. Like, you don't even know.
Exactly.
You don't like that is not yeah.
Yeah.
So um, okay, so you're the fifth district in Georgia. That's downtown Atlanta, and is it other?
Yeah, so it's Fulton County,
Okay,
DeKalb County, and a little bit of Clayton County. So
okay,
it's kind of like if you're looking at Atlanta, it's kind of like a little bit of the right and the bottom, but pretty much most of the center.
So like
Um,
center, east, and south.
yeah, yeah, a
Okay.
little bit south of the airport, so that would also be my district. So pretty big, pretty historic. The
Yeah.
birth of the civil rights era.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of really, really big things that happen down there. And also a ton of HBCUs are in Atlanta as well.
Hmm.
The worst airport in the world is in Atlanta as well.
I don't know which one you're talking about because it's definitely not the Atlanta airport. Have you
We'll
ever
talk.
been to Las Vegas?
Yes, I have numerous
Okay,
times. We'll talk
all
about
right,
that later. We'll
okay,
get to
all
the
right.
Hearts. What is it, Hartsfield? Yeah, we'll get to
Yeah,
Hartsfield.
Hartsfield.
I will air my grievances.
Okay, okay.
So let's talk a little bit more about the district. We've got what, like about 700,000 people in it.
Hmm.
Last I checked in 24, we had like 350-ish thousand show up. This is from Ballotpedia. It's not from your Department of State. I don't
Gotcha,
know
gotcha.
where honestly, I couldn't find those numbers. And so I was like, fine, we're looking at these. So, with this big surface area,
Hmm.
what do you think are the biggest issues? What do you think the issues that are keeping your potential constituents up at night?
Yeah, I think the number one is probably pay.
Quality.
Yeah, that's something that's hitting everybody hard. Like we've not only have we gone through like inflation crisis, through crazy recessions and pandemics, but now like all that stacked up and not even a single bump in the federal minimum wage. Think of all
Right.
the crises that have happened. I think
And
it
that's just
hasn't.
in like the last 5 years.
Yes, and I don't think it's been risen, or I don't think it's been raised since like early
It was
2000s, I believe.
'09
Oh
last,
nine,
I
okay.
think. Yeah. And it's 725 for the federal minimum wage. I don't know what the state is, what you guys have as yours. Is it
Yeah,
725?
I believe it is lower. I think it's lower than that. Yeah.
I don't think it
And
can be lower than that,
well,
but
well, like on the books or
okay.
something like that. But essentially we do have a
I mean, it's seven, even if it is 725, that's
yeah,
pre-tax.
yeah, and it's lower for if you're a server. So
Of
it's like two,
course.
yes, because I always remember my mom's paycheck, it would always be like two
It's insane.
dollars or something like that
Yeah.
an hour, and
And
it
that
would
hasn't changed at all. I mean, it's been like
yeah,
225 since, I mean, I know I've worked in a lot of restaurants, but the last time I worked in a restaurant was like 20 years ago, and it's still somewhere between like $2 and $3 an hour, which
yeah.
is
And we need to rebalance that. Like I'm a proponent of 20 to 25 an hour minimum wage is where we need to really
yeah,
be looking at um to just get us back to where we were. Because if you also look at
baseline.
yeah,
Yeah.
because if you look at like productivity, it American workers are like some of the most productive workers in the world, and yet
Hmm.
we are some of the most underpaid compared to like, our counterparts. So that isn't that we're lazy or that we're not getting
No.
shit done, is that the people that end up getting the money are the people that siphon it to the very tippy top.
Well, and it's not just being underpaid, it's also under benefited, like, I mean,
Yep.
my last startup I was at was UK based, and us New Yorkers telling them some of these like norms in the United States,
Yeah.
you would think that I think we gave one of them a straight up heart attack. Just the shock and the awe. I was like, pick your jaw up off the floor. Yeah, I was like, we know, we are aware, it's
Yeah.
terrible. And then our entire team got laid off, which is illegal in the UK. You cannot do that because you get past a certain point. And they're all like, oh, bye? We're like, yeah, bye. No
Wow.
worker protections, none whatsoever.
Incredible. Yeah, people just feel like they're like nobody's there to protect them, and
Yeah.
there isn't, and that's why we need to get people back in there that are willing to actually fight for things like that, raising that minimum wage, because
Hmm.
it's just not something that I feel like the party or a lot of people have really focused on as much, and really been just fighting over and over and over for it. Like it needs to be said so much that we get tired of hearing it.
Yeah, no, I know. It needs to be like right here in every single person's mind. And I also think that for progressives in our country, when we focus on the workers and when we focus on giving working class people the opportunity to move up through the
Mm,
social system and maybe buy a home or move to a neighborhood that they want to send their kids to school in, whatever it is, then we are giving everybody a little bit more of a fair shot, but we are also like creating the best version of our country. So it's frustrating that, like you said, it's frustrating. It's not the thing we're talking about
yeah. And
every breath.
and it compounds like you were
Yeah.
kind of saying, like if you can fix some of the pay, get the fair pay back in balance, then it will offset a little bit of the housing crisis. It's not going to fix it, but it
Right.
will help handle some of it while we can start focusing on the actual how do we build or renovate or rezone different areas to
Yeah.
allow, there are all these different things, but we need to figure out where can we start doing something to give people a little bit of like breathing room. And to me,
Yeah.
that's why the pay is like the number one thing in my mind, because that is one thing that you could literally sign and have it be passed in like a month if, people had the guts to do it. Like
And if we
it
have
could
like the
happen.
support, I mean, I
Yeah.
think every single person in the like, well, here's the argument, right? The counter argument to this always is because of the United States' history and the way we're taught and all of these things is we assign this weird morality to jobs, and people always
Mhm.
will argue, oh, well, so should my barista make $25 an hour? Should my
Yeah.
McDonald's person make $25 an hour? And I want to hear your
Yes.
counter argument to that. I mean, mine is always yes. I'm like, yeah, you want McDonald's, so pay them their money so they can give you your McDonald's. The CEO doesn't need to make 500 million or whatever they're making this year. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, I think for me it's also yes. Like I just want to make sure people are at least getting paid so that they can live. And
yeah,
not, again, not living is not surviving. Living
right.
is thriving, building a family, generational wealth. So when you say to somebody, or when somebody's like, "Oh, do they deserve to get paid that much?" I really like for them to be like, well, what do you think? I like to say, like, what do you think they deserve to get paid?
Right.
I ask that question back to them, and a lot of the time they don't have an
They don't
answer. Yeah,
know.
yeah, you
Yeah,
don't know because it's like, well, I never thought of it from like what I feel is just versus what they feel is just. So it's more of like everybody just immediately thinks that their pay won't also increase
right.
to counteract some of like the market changes too. So I think there's a
Hmm.
whole aspect of like, one, it's about doing the right thing at the end of the day and
Yeah.
making sure people have like the ability to live and prosper and be happy. Like as an American,
Yeah.
as a human, you just want, like, that's a baseline for me.
Hmm.
And then after that, it's like how do we actually achieve it in a fair way?
Yeah.
And I think once we can kind of start, I don't know, explaining a little bit more of the actual processes of, just because we bump up everybody's, minimum wage doesn't mean everybody else's wages then stays stagnant, or that,
Right.
things don't, your boss's wage might actually come down
Yeah.
and
And it's not
yours,
even your
yeah,
bosses, it's your
yeah,
boss's 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 boss. Like your middle
exactly.
manager is not the even probably the directors and the VPs, their wages are probably not, they might stay the same, but
Yeah.
they're not probably going to come down. It's the people making, over the 500,000 mark per year that would adjust somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you think about like asking somebody who's making 500,000 plus to adjust their lifestyle a little bit so that we can have people have great lives, so that we can lower our crime rates by giving people what they need versus having them, there's all
The
these
yeah.
societal down chain effects that people just don't see, like the one thing can bubble up to a lot of good.
called compounding interest. It really,
Yes,
it's exactly what
exactly.
it is, right? Like you
Hmm.
drop something in a bucket, and 5 years later, all of a sudden, more people are housed, more people are like children are spending more time at school and they're learning good things. And then parents are able to take their kids on maybe one or two vacations or even more. And so then both the parents and the kids learn new things. And with
Yeah.
new things, you get empathy and you change and you grow as a
Mental
person.
health. Yeah.
Yeah. And you just like become a much more well-rounded society.
Yeah. And there's all these horrible things that are especially like mass shootings that keep
Yeah.
popping up. But that's just like one of, in my opinion, a lot of the current society stress that we have.
Yeah.
It bubbles down to people only seeing that as the way to get heard. And that means we failed so
A
much,
thousand different ways. Yeah.
1,000 different ways before that person got
Yeah.
to that point. And what we're doing by with all the with all the cuts that you're seeing throughout the government is I'm afraid of how much worse that's going to get. If people
Yes.
were already at the tip of the iceberg, um, people are going to fall off now. So we need to be even more there for our community, be more there for what is going to come. Because I keep telling people, no one's going to save us other than each other.
Right. Right. Well, and that's another issue that is not very tangible until you like sit down and think about it is the lack of community.
Mhm.
And part of that is because our wages are so low, right? People don't have extra money to go out and hang out and do things with their friends that do actually build the community. And it doesn't, of course, community doesn't have to be expensive. It can be free. It can even be volunteering and things like that. But like, obviously, if a friend asks you out to dinner, you want to go out to dinner with them. And that is a really great way to get to know people and to build your community and your network in around where you live. That has nothing to do with volunteering or sitting in the park. We've got about 10 inches of rain being dumped right outside my window right now. We're having like the worst rainstorm of they said it's probably gonna be the worst in the last 10 years in New York City. So
Ooh, oh,
can't really go sit in the park today. So just like having those extra funds to actually get out and go meet new people and build that way is really important as well.
yeah. It's always interesting how we people are always like, oh, you don't want to be like Soviet Russia where everybody, drives one car and watches one show and it's like, well, we are forced to live that already here. We
Yeah.
can only afford the bare basics, so we can only buy one of one thing, one of the other, and it's like we're so far away from a fair capitalistic system
Yeah.
you can't like we're in the same spot no matter whether you try to frame it again as like some like weird socialistic communistic dream or a capitalistic nightmare. Like unfair systems no matter where you go will be abused by unfair people.
Unfair people, right? And we've allowed loopholes in our government, and we've compounded the interest in the opposite direction rather than the helping people direction. We've done the like helping the 0.5%, 0.75% of the population, and it's just
Yeah.
gotten to that point. We're having our own little mini revolution here in New York City. We just did
Mm.
our primary for mayor last month, and
I love that
that's
the result from that.
very exciting. Zoran Mamdani will be our Democratic candidate. And the next day, I got a message from somebody that said New York will turn into North Korea because of free buses. It was expressly about the free buses.
Oh my, jeez.
And I was like, I don't think you understand what North Korea is like.
It just it it it's so weird to think that people think like having good infrastructure is bad. Is like they even think of it like associated with bad stuff versus thinking, wow, we have the ability to move so many people from one area to the other at an affordable rate that now we can like provide all these jobs everywhere else. And we like it doesn't like
We can
the
literally
frame.
create economic centers everywhere in the city.
Yeah. And it's I think there is that ability that the current leadership doesn't have the ability to actually have a vision for what we're trying to sell, for what we're trying to give people. So they just say buses or blah blah blah, or and it's
Yeah.
like, no, we need to show them that this is the base of a future plan. Yes, we'll have free buses, but because of free buses, now we can have X, Y, and Z. And now there's more commerce here because now, now there's
Mhm.
no violence because people
Right.
don't have to get into fights about getting on and off the bus, and there's
Yeah.
efficiency there. So there's all these great things that our current leadership is just ineffective at explaining.
Do you think that's one of the biggest problems with the like progressive party right now in our country, or lack thereof of a very progressive party? Is it a communications issue? Is it a policy issue? What do you think it is? Is it a
Yeah.
corruption issue?
So I think once you see the politicians, or at least the current like representatives that I would say are progressive, aren't taking corporate money, aren't taking PAC money, at that point, I would say that it's a effective issue.
Hmm.
From what I've noticed, like the AOCs and the Mandamis of the world, they exist, but it's not a current system that allows for like multiplication
Yeah.
of the movement. So that's where I see us currently failing and being able to really explain like we are doing this because it's going to allow New York to then do this, Georgia for this candidate to run in Georgia because now there's a progressive wave, and it's like, yes,
Hmm.
there's way better ways for us to explain like our strategy, our 5, 10 year, 15-year plan. Things that you would expect in like an engineering space or in in a business
It's
space, like if this fails, what do we do next? Like we
right,
need to
right.
have that actionable and in a way that we can explain it to people.
We just spent a really long time talking about the affordability crisis.
Oh.
Is there anything else in the people of your district
I
are keeping them up at night?
I mean, I think other than obviously housing,
Yeah.
which I think could be solved with some of the fair wages,
Hmm.
medical stuff that
Yes.
can be offset by fair wages too much in my opinion, because it
Yeah.
just like you've seen before, the prices just keep going up, especially with insurance companies. So we've reached a point a long time ago, in my opinion, where our medical system is just broken. We need to
Yeah.
completely revamp it. And in my mind, that's universal healthcare.
Mm.
Getting back to not having medicine be a for-profit system is
Yeah.
hugely important. I didn't have insurance till I got my first job at a college, so I was like 25, I think.
Right.
And at that, like before then, I've had to go to the hospital. I've had to just not pay the bills because my first panic attack, I think, was in college, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh no, I'm having a heart attack."
It
And
feels like a heart attack.
yeah,
It does.
and it was like a $5,000 hospital bill for about an hour's worth of them seeing me, and I was like,
Hmm.
"I'm not paying that." That is the current system that we have.
Right. Well, and the hospitals have to I had to go to the hospital without insurance one time. I had a kidney infection. I got an $18,000 bill.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. And they had me fill out some form.
yeah,
And I wasn't they were like, how much money did you make this month? And I was like, quite literally $150. Like
yeah.
that is it. And they're like, great, put that down. And I was like, what do you mean? And I got some letter in the mail from some organization that said they paid the bill. I really don't know. I
Yeah,
paid, I mean, I still had to pay some,
yeah,
which was more than the $150 I made that month, but
yeah.
it's it's not sustainable, even if you
Yeah.
have those programs, which we're very lucky to have that in New York, but it's not all over the country.
Yeah. And I can tell you a lot of horror stories, especially growing up from my mom, my sister getting sick. But the problem isn't just even being able to pay for it. It's, for example, once we had, went to, my mom had I think a similar kidney infection, and
Yeah.
they, or a bladder infection, and they gave her antibiotics and pain medicine.
And morphine. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and she's like, I can't afford the medicine, the pain,
Oh God.
and they wouldn't give her the antibiotics without the pain medicines.
Oh.
They're like,
Oh,
oh,
it's
you,
okay. I see. I yes,
yes,
I've actually had that exact same situation as
yeah,
well.
yeah. So it's
Mine,
like,
yeah,
and that, like, it's like we can afford one but not the other.
right, which
So,
is
which is heartbreaking, being, trying to yell at the person, being like, yeah, we need the medicine. I'll deal with the pain myself.
or I'll
Just
just take Advil,
yeah, yeah,
like also frankly, if a woman is telling you she can deal with the pain, she can deal with the pain. Straight
yeah.
up. You're standing next to her. You are proof that your mother can deal with some pain.
Yes, yes.
But they
And
wouldn't even give it to her without it.
yeah, yeah. And those are, again, those compounding systems
Yeah,
of having the government decide how much your medical care should be
so
worth, having them
stupid.
decide how much they should even be involved. It compounds throughout the system to
These
where
non-medical experts
yes,
deciding. It's like,
exactly, exactly. I've lived all these things that I
yeah,
think that I know my constituents are facing, and I feel like that gives me, with my engineering problem solving focused mindset, a new approach at, like, really trying to solve these things in different ways.
yeah. Well, and that's it, right? We
Hmm.
can pretend and we can try to solve them the same ways we've been trying to solve them for 40, 60 years,
Yeah,
and or we could try something new.
exactly. Yeah, and I think that's a thing. Another reason that I actually decided to run too, because I was like, I could try going the old route. I know I could win a local house
Hmm.
or state race. Like, I know deep in my heart I could do that. Um, but I don't know if my country's going to be around 4 more years.
I
And
know.
I don't know if we do happen to, if we do happen to flip, let's say, it's a miracle and we happen to flip everything back in 2 years or by 2026.
Hmm.
Are the people there going to be willing enough to be bold in what needs to come next, what policies? Like, we don't want to go back to 2016, we don't want to go back to 1965. Like, we need a human rights act, we need something new, we need a new vision, a new plan, instead of trying to sell us restoring, some great thing that obviously ended up getting us even here. Like,
Yeah,
how do you show us getting back to where we wanted to be, but in a new way? Because, like, we just need a new way forward, whether you just, like, come up with new ideas or something,
right.
this is the time of ideas, I think.
Yeah. Well, and it's like that existential crisis. We are at a
Mm,
tipping point, and I agree with you 100%. I am very worried about 2026, and specifically the people that do win. Are they uh as I think Isaiah Martin put this word back on my radar. I haven't heard it since I was a little kid, but will they have the cojones to stand up and like really
yeah.
overhaul the system? Because that's what we fucking need, right? Like the system we had in 2016 and 1990 and 1965 worked for, I don't know, a third of the country,
Hmm.
max, maybe if we're lucky, maybe 40%. But like we're supposed to be the land of the
Yeah.
like dreams.
We got placeholder rights, and we thought we would always get to, the promise of equal everything, but I think our leadership got comfortable, they got
Yeah.
old, and they just lost the ability to keep up with the times. And it's it was a compounding interest on their end too. They,
Yes.
throughout the party.
Yeah, throughout both parties. I mean, that's the craziest part, right? Like we've watched MAGA like spawn out of the Republicans, like classic horror movie
Mm.
shit. And so like I think the technically I think like old school Republicans and old school Democrats are kind of dealing with the same shit. And I'm hoping that in 2026 we see our own spawn, but to the left, who's like
Yeah,
ready to like tussle.
yeah. I joke about it with my with my wife. I'm like, you should wheel me into the house with like the Hannibal Lecter mask off and just like take it off. Yeah, it's like, no, you guys are stuck in here with me.
Like then she's like, why do you hear
Yeah.
the deadbolt?
Yeah. Oh my God,
Amazing.
free healthcare. No.
Oh, that's amazing. Is there anything else you want to talk about before we do our like rapid fire of questions and you tell everybody where they can find you and where they can donate and how they can get involved?
Let's see. I will say, throughout my journey, I want to make sure that people go out and find their local communities. So, the DSA was one of the first places that I actually reached out to. I after the election, I was like, all right, I need somebody, and they had an event, like literally the next week. They're like, where do we start? Working Families Party has also been great. I've been recently joined them to start kind of being more involved
Yeah.
with them. So I've been learning how they work, and they're doing amazing stuff. Young Dems too. Like there is a big need. Get in. You can go in there and take over a chapter of the Young Dems like that. Like
In like
anybody
10
who's out,
minutes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so there is the ability. You just have to show up and be there. So that's a big thing that I want to make sure is like as much as you can do things online, as much as you can like retweet things, you showing up in person and saying hello to somebody will
Yes.
like change the atmosphere, change the culture, and like allow you to actually try to form what you want to see in government.
Leaving the house is a requirement. It's
Exactly.
unfortunate but true.
Yes.
You have to get off the couch or your bed or whatever and go. And you and I were talking about something that you were building something that was going to create some sort of communication between all of these. Is that
I
still in the works?
Yeah, so I have you can probably, if you go to castroforgeorgia.com/neighborhoods, I'm actually building a neighborhood map of my district. And then I have like the official recognized neighborhoods, but then I'll have neighborhoods that are more kind of ad hoc that are formed by people.
Cool.
And it's going to let people do neighborhood captains, allow you to like bubble stuff through the neighborhoods. And it'll be just like an all-around resource that I want to build for my constituents.
That's really cool. So yeah, you heard that website. Important. You can also go there and donate, right?
Yes.
And
Yes, that is
probably
a
find all of your social media handles there as well.
absolutely. Yeah, castroforgeorgia.com has my policies. If you want to contact me through there, it has my email. And it has a lot of my strategy that I'm going to be hopefully bringing up over the next couple of weeks. We're hoping to officially launch on my birthday, September 14th.
Got
And yeah, that's going to be a huge, huge turning point for this campaign to really, really get things going.
You know where to find him. You know where to find his campaign. Now, are you ready? We're doing
Yeah.
10 rapid fire
All
questions.
right.
These are random from a group of like 15 different. So,
Oh, okay.
do you ever read your horoscope?
I do not, but my wife used to do tarot and she knows a little bit more about it, but I'm more of a tarot person.
Okay, okay. Kind of go. They're like they're not hand in hand, but they're
Yeah,
they're
yeah. They're adjacent. Yeah.
cousins. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
cousins.
yeah.
Are you a morning person or an evening person?
I am a morning person. I usually wake up by like 6 o'clock on my own. And yeah, I feed the dogs. I'm the one that gets things going.
Same. I like can't. People are like, oh wow, like an alarm all the time, and I'm like, yeah, it's my
No.
body. It's just the no alarm.
Yeah.
I
It's
was gonna
it's
ask you if you're a cat or a dog person. Clearly a dog.
I used to be only a dog person.
Okay.
I got converted to a cat person. So I have 3 dogs, 3 cats,
Oh.
4 chickens.
Oh my gosh, a full menagerie.
Yeah,
Okay.
we love animals here, and they're our kids.
That's amazing. Can I ask you what your chickens' names are?
Um, I don't know yet. So I get to name one at
Okay.
least. I have to meet with my wife and my niece because they're going to be naming the other ones.
Okay.
They will have pants at some point, so they chicken pants are
I'm sorry.
coming. Yes.
Let's
Yes.
click into that. What? Chicken pants?
Yes. So they saw something on TikTok where people put pants on chickens and they like take them out for walks. So now they're like
Like
making
it's in their brain. You can't get it
yeah.
out now.
Yeah. So while I don't know their fun names yet, I do know that they're gonna have some fun pants that go along with them.
Oh, that's wild. Okay, I was hoping that they were gonna have like some really fun unhinged names, but we'll have to wait. This is you're keeping
Well,
me in
I'll
suspense.
let you know when I find out.
If you had a superpower, what would it be?
Hmm. Superpower would be to I want to just be able to teleport, I think. Being able
Yeah.
to
Skip the
like
lines at Hartsfield Airport?
I I hate flying. I'm not gonna lie. I hate turbulence. I need to be give me like as much Dramamine, put me to
Yeah.
sleep.
Yeah.
So anything that could I do love driving, but I just, hate flying.
Our country is so big, I don't think people understand like how far Americans are willing to drive. Like we used to
Yeah.
drive from Charlotte, North Carolina to Key West, Florida every year.
Wow.
17 hours.
Yeah, I've driven to Key West from
Yeah, from
from Atlanta,
Atlanta,
and
and
I was like,
we were
"Oh my
5 hours
God."
north of you. Yeah.
When
Yeah, yeah.
whenever you hit Miami and you're like, "We're almost there." And you're like, "No.
No,
No, I'm so
no.
sorry.
And then
I'm
you're
so
no, you're
sorry."
almost there, and now you're down to a single lane road. Good luck.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. But I actually drove when we moved to Seattle, we drove from Atlanta to Seattle.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a 5-day trip, so we took it
But you like
slow.
took time. Okay,
Yeah, yeah, we
great,
took it
great,
slow.
great.
But on the way back, we did not take it slow. So I drove back from Seattle to Atlanta with a U-Haul.
In like 3.5 days.
Yeah, but we got
Yeah.
stuck in like Salt Lake City because of a snowstorm. So it was
Mm, no, thank you. Yeah, see, I would fly that. I would put my car on a car train and I'd be like, I will see you there. But of course, if you have, did you have the animals in Seattle?
I did. It was
Yeah, then you
bad.
have to drive.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
There's
It
no way.
was yeah,
Mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Would you prefer to always, and I mean always, be 10 minutes early or I'm sorry, 10 minutes late or 20 minutes early?
20 minutes early. I
Same.
I get stressed out by like traffic. I think everything like I'm always like I can have a cup of coffee or something.
Exactly. Like I can find something to do. I will
Yeah,
be fine.
yeah.
Um, if you had to pick one meal for breakfast or lunch that you ate every day for a year, what would it be?
Ooh. I think it would have to be paella. I'm a
Uh,
big paella fan because you could have
yeah.
like yeah, all sorts of paella types.
I mean, you could do so much with it, but
Yeah.
I've literally, I'm gonna knock on wood when I say that, I have never had a bad paella.
It's if you ever happen to come down here to Georgia, Atlanta, we'll have a paella night.
I
Because I
might. I
love I
might. I was
love
there. I was
cooking it.
there 2 Marches ago.
Oh,
Not
okay.
this last March, but the March before. We went to a concert in some like old church
Hmm.
downtown. Maybe.
Yes.
Maybe it was called like Temple something.
Yes, I
Maybe it
think I
wasn't a
know where
church.
that is.
It's a really cool venue if you ever get the opportunity. Last question. I'm gonna let you off the hook with the Atlanta Hartsfield comments that I've been making, but what is your favorite thing about your district?
Oh, I would say like I want to say diversity, but like it doesn't do it justice. It
Yeah,
doesn't do it justice of like how many different cultures there are here, how
yeah,
much different like the airport is amazing because it brings the melting
it
pot.
does.
It brings that culture in, and that is why I moved back from Seattle. That is why like I've never been able to find a home outside of Atlanta is because I know the people here. I know
Yeah,
how nice they are. I know where I can go if, I want to get some good food or if I want to find some good nature walks or if I want to just be with with community. Like you can always find community here, and that's what I
yeah.
really just find amazing.
As a native Charlottean, I will say this, and I'm going to say it once and never again. I actually do really like Atlanta.
Ah, well, thank
All
you.
right, guys, I'm going to put all information into the show notes. You can follow his campaign for the 5th congressional district out of Atlanta, Georgia. And you can donate and you can volunteer. And I'm sure as the campaign progresses, there will be ways to volunteer, even if you're not in Georgia. So
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have a check our website for how to get involved. We have a Discord if you want to join, where we'll be getting people up to date and involved in the campaign. So lots of ways to plug in. And I look forward to showing y'all what I can do.
this is a campaign run by a software engineer. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. All right. Thank you again.
absolutely.
If you've made it this far, thank you so much. Thank you for following The Foolish Optimist. You can follow us on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts, pretty much. We're going to be dropping new episodes every Wednesday, and you can watch the video episodes on YouTube. If you would like to, please give us a review, leave comments. You can also email us at thefoolishoptimistpodcast@gmail.com. If you see any really great candidates that I should be talking to, send them my way. Thank you.